everybody, and a very warm welcome to our Slice of Heaven at 11 on Saturday morning and another Desert Island Disc. Although, as with previous weeks, we are filming this well in advance, and the person to either my right or left, depending on how you're seeing this on your screen, might be familiar to some of you. But I will hand over to Hannah to introduce herself. So if you would introduce yourself, Hannah.
Hi, I'm Hannah. Some of you may know me from back in the days of singing in the choir. Others of you will know me from, or know of me through my mum, who is Julia. So yeah, hi.
Thank you very much. And it was on this date last year, you got married to Adrian.
Yeah,
So a very happy first anniversary.
thank you.
I got the date wrong on Sunday, of course, didn't I? I thought it was the 26th, but it wasn't. It was Bank Holiday Monday last year at St. John's. Fabulous day that was. So congratulations to you both
Thank you.
for a year on. You've got an interesting collection of 8 tracks, and I'm glad that we are reverting to somebody who's not breaking the rules, because we've had 2 weeks of people who have broken the rules and chosen 10 tracks. So I think you're on 8 tracks, and it's a mix of some good religious music, and we'll come to that in a minute, as well as some secular music, and you've got a book and a luxury item, and we'll talk about those in a moment. So our first one is I think we're doing sort of 3 religious tracks first. So your first one is, if you'd like to sort of say what it is, introduce it and say why you've chosen it.
So the first one is called Facing the Task Unfinished. It's by the Gettys. This version's by the Gettys, but it's a take on an older song. And it's one of those songs that really cheers your spirit in terms of what we're set out to do as Christians and the way we're meant to live it out. And actually it is a task unfinished. And for a lot of, we'll run the race, and that is our task, to help make Christ known in the world and live out our day-to-day life in faith, really.
Fabulous. Thank you very much for your first one, Facing the Task Unfinished by the Gettys. Gettys, of course, have also done a lot of work with Stuart Townend, haven't they? So
Yeah.
excellent. And just to sort of explain to people as well, I will put links up to YouTube clips as we go along, so you can see those, and also a link to a Spotify playlist at the end. Now on to track number 2, and this is, we're going down under for this one, aren't we? If you'd like to introduce your next one.
So the next one is called Yet Not I, But Through Christ in Me. It's a relatively new song, the last few years out of Australia, by a band called CityAlight. It's being played a lot through the different churches all over the world. It's got a very easy tune to follow, and again it talks of when the race is complete, and how when we get to heaven there'll be a lot of things that won't matter that we've done of our own, but through Christ in me, really. And that's our message, or our strapline for Christians, that everything we do is to the glory of God, basically.
Fabulous. It's a bit of a mouthful, the title, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't quite
doesn't quite trip off the tongue, but there we are. Excellent. Thank you very much. Now for track number 3, this might be seen as a little controversial. There's a line in here that certainly, if we were singing it in the parish, I certainly know that my colleague would want it changed, and I probably would too. but I like the hymn or song otherwise. So introduce the next one.
So the next one's called In Christ Alone, and that's by Stuart Townend and the Gettys. Stuart Townend and the Gettys are probably the most established modern Christian hymn writers, and they really hit the button in terms of processing a story throughout their hymns and songs, and they also allow for songs that are able to be sung in congregational settings, and for people to follow. The song, I've chosen this song because it reminds me of being at Spring Harvest, which is a Christian festival, which is somewhere that I used to see James. He used to help run the youth department, and it was when I was at St Paul's, and there was quite a crowd of us youngsters at St Paul's at 3, and so James nicknamed us St Paul's Troop, because there was quite a lot of and so I think it just goes to show that, you know, throughout our lives people are weaved in such a great story of our lives, really. But
it is a good, as you say, I absolutely agree with you that Townend has found a way of writing modern music actually that is easily sung by congregations. I mean, his Psalm 23 is hugely popular, and there are others that actually can be played on the organ or piano and sung. So he has a certainly sort of a reachability that I think a lot of modern composers don't have, because they write music that is for bands and larger setups, and then make it a bit more tricky, don't they? So
yeah, and I think also with Townend and the Gettys, their theology, you know, that you can follow their theology throughout the song. So if you struggle to read the Bible or to understand it, if you can be able to sing or listen to a song where you can understand, you know, it's just wonderful to understand the Christian story and the Christian faith through song.
Thank you very much. There is one more religious choice, but we're leaving that to last so we can play out with that one. So hopefully we don't upset anyone from a copyright perspective, as I found out in my first week of doing this. We're now on to your secular music choices, and track number 4, and you're taking me back as well to some sort of music from not necessarily growing up, but a good number of years ago. So track number 4, introduce that one.
So this one is Sit Down by James. Although it was released the year I was born in 89.
This is where I show my age, you see. So yes, I was out at work in 89. No, yes, I was. So anyway, carry on.
I've only sort of really discovered it in the last 10 years. But for me, I work within the NHS. I do 2 jobs. I work within the crisis team, and the song reminds me of my working life, that people just want you to sit down with them and they want to tell you their story. They don't want advice, and they don't want to be told what to do. They want to be told that they've been heard and that they're listened to. And there's lines in the song, you know, if you've been touched by madness and all these different things, sit down with me. And that's what reminds me of sitting down with people and listening to them, and acknowledging their pain and experience, really. Yeah.
I think that's a brilliant link to the song, and actually we could probably all learn an awful lot of that, couldn't we? I mean, we're doing a lot of sitting down at the moment, but but actually just in life, taking time to sit down, whether that's on our own or, as you say, sitting down and listening to people. So yeah, great choice. Now the next one, I think probably lots of us remember the video, and I can't remember who partnered the singer in the video, but it was a very simple video. So introduce your 5th track, please.
So this one is "You Can Call Me Al" by Paul Simon. I've chosen this. It reminds me, because I am very, very extroverted. It reminds me of doing karaoke with friends, and in our arrogance, thinking that we'd take the song on and make it our own, we did take the song on, and the round of applause we got at the end was probably more of sheer joy that it was over than that we'd mastered it. And I just think it reminds me to be humble, that actually sometimes we can't always get it right, and that's what I learned from doing it at karaoke. And it's just one of the tunes that you just can't help but love.
Yeah, brilliant. And doesn't karaoke remind us that actually a lot of songwriters are very talented, and to get up and sing a song, it just is something else. It's I try to avoid karaoke. It tends to, I think I've only participated in karaoke when I've had a few to drink, so which probably makes it worse for everyone else watching. Now on to your sixth track, from a a band of, I'm going to say, were they of the 90s or the 1000s?
Yeah,
They were of the 90s, weren't they?
Well, sort of late 80s, sort of just early 90s.
So it is.
It's Never Forget by Take That, together with its very famous Hands in the Air bit when they sing Never Forget. I was a big Take That fan as a child when I was growing up. I think people split into two camps. They were either Take That, or they were more of the American Backstreet Boys fan that my sister was. Although I was upset when Robbie left, wasn't one that phoned the helpline that they'd set up.
I was going to ask that. Were you in tears when that happened?
No, I think I was a little bit too young to know what it really meant.
Right.
And although I've never seen Take That, I have seen Robbie live, and he is a master of shows.
Yeah.
But this song is one of my favourites because we played it at the end of our wedding reception last year, and it was just a way of celebrating, never forget where you've come from and the things you've done, and how actually we take our lives for granted, even, and I'm not saying that it's always plain sailing, but the good times, we really need to savor those moments. And I think lockdown has helped us to remember those times. The things we want to do are the things that we want to be with our families, or we want to do the things that, a trip round Home Sense is now such a luxury.
Yeah, brilliant. And I think it's again, it's probably only after the event that we realise actually what a great songwriter and performers they were, in the sense that they were, of course, in the boy band category, but Gary Barlow did actually have some talent, musical talent, and it's been an interesting journey for them, and how can you not Take That? I mean,
well, exactly.
Really, excellent. We've got one more, Secular. How could we ever forget the Spice Girls?
So again, a little bit like Take That, it's one of those bands that you just remember and you just dance around to. Well, I do anyway. So it's from the sublime to the ridiculous, as they say, and actually this song Spice Up Your Life reminds me of how life is to be enjoyed, and if you want some fun, then put it on and just dance. And it also reminds me of my husband, in the fact that he had a very quiet life until he met me. And now look where we are.
Fabulous. So it's one of those I mean, the sun is shining today, and it is a bit sort of, if you go out in the car, it's a bit windows down, and there's nothing wrong with sugary pop. I mean, I'm sure
and everyone would sing along.
There are plenty in the parish, or plenty who'll be watching this with their head in their hands, as sort of, we announced that there's nothing wrong with Sugary Pop and the Spice Girls and Take That and all sorts. So
Well, it's variety
brilliant.
of life. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right, so we've had 7 of your 8 tracks, and the next bit is I think we'll talk about your book choice. You get automatically the complete works of Shakespeare and the Bible, or a replacement book of philosophical import. Now, James bucked the trend last week and chose something different in terms of the Bible. But I think your book choice is excellent. So what have you chosen?
So I've chosen The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse, which is by Charlie Mackesy. So Charlie Mackesy is a Christian from London who's done this book, and it is full of his artwork and the writing. It follows the journey of the boy and the horse, and it talks about being kind and love, which is also important themes that thread throughout the Bible as well. The other thing is his work has been celebrated, and he also was behind the NHS t-shirts that say love wins. And yeah, so this book, it's available to buy from all local Christian bookshops.
And I would say to anyone, just go and buy the book. It's beautiful. It's not very wordy.
No.
But it's a lovely book just to actually sort of open and enjoy the pictures and the writing. It's a heartwarming book from
absolutely.
Charlie Mackesy. I would strongly recommend it. And I have it on my bookshelf, and I'm a bit gutted that I didn't think of that as a book as my choice, because I think it was a really good choice. So excellent. Excellent. And then on to your luxury item. Can't be alive, so it must be something that is dead or otherwise. So what have you got for your luxury item?
So the classic would be to choose my wedding certificate or wedding photos or family photo, but I thought I'd go for something different, and that's a bottle of gin, Bombay Sapphire and some Fever Tree tonics. I know they're 2, but you could pour it all into one.
You could probably ask for a tanker of it or something, just to keep you going.
And if you're on a desert island with music and books, you just need a good drink to go with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would absolutely concur. That's a very good choice. Brilliant. So for back to music, your 8th and final choice, and this is sort of, now I should have looked this up, but I can't remember when this hymn was written, but we're sort of going back to a bit more trad music. But I think this is a lovely hymn. So as your last one, what is your choice?
So the last choice is Dear Lord and Father of Mankind, and I've chosen this song because I used to sing in the choir, and it reminds me of Jeff, who used to play the organ, and Barbara Griffiths, and the very formidable team that they made together in helping us all to learn new songs and develop our skills. But I love this song because it talks of the peace that we all need right now, and the peace that actually we need for our lifetime. That's only God-given peace. We can't create it. You can't manufacture that. So yeah, it just speaks throughout the years because it's a very, very good, well-written hymn.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. So we will play out with Dear Lord and Father of Mankind, and Hannah Bailey. I almost said Hannah Young. Thank you very much for your Desert Island Discs this morning. Brilliant. Thank you.